Welcome in, everybody, to a very special edition of Game Day Live. The Winnipeg Seabears in Vancouver taking on the Vancouver Bandits in the Western Conference Final. That's back-to-back years in the Western Conference Final, but this year they earned their way there. No bye. They had to win at home against Saskatoon, and they did that in great fashion. I want to apologize. Thanks to everybody for waiting. Difficult start here. We had some technical difficulties trying to get live, but all has been worked out, and I'm happy to have everybody along. If you're not already, like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you have your notifications on. If you're watching from Instagram, there is a link below where you're able to check in on the YouTube, get in on the chat, have a little fun in here. It's a little bit hard for me to keep up with the Instagram messages. I apologize. I know pretty much every show we've got at least a few coming from Instagram, so get on the YouTube side, get in the chat, hang out with Stat Guy Ty, Smirkio. John McTavish is usually here. We got Andrew in here today. Awesome to have you guys all on board here. Appreciate you guys joining us as the conference finals are already underway. Commercial break right now in the Eastern Conference Final, and we have very special guests. I guess you can call them that. So they're going to be joining us from the game in Brampton. That is Matt Bonomi and D Bulsara will be joining us here at the halftime break, second quarter. I think just getting underway in a little bit. Tyler Penner already on this on the Stat Guy Ty says, looks like we can only have one D in the stream though. Andrew listening while also listening to the River Lions game. Yeah, how crazy would that be, right? Last year, the Niagara River Lions were in Niagara, and everybody was cheering for Niagara from Winnipeg simply because they didn't want Calgary to win. And there's a chance that those are the two teams in the final after Niagara upset Scarborough. Scarborough was playing shorthanded, mind you, but yeah, they beat the best team, the most dominant team in CEBL history, to get here to play the Brampton Honey Badgers in Brampton. Right now, it's 28-24. Brampton leading it after one quarter. And they'll be punching their ticket likely as we're getting in to the game here, our game, the Western Conference Final. Might end just a little bit before. We'll have to wait and see. I will go as far as I can. I do want to catch the end of that game. I'm sure you do too, the Eastern Conference semifinal. So we'll probably wrap up shortly after D Bulsara and Matt Bonomi join in on the show. But hey, man, what a great feeling to be going in on if you're the Winnipeg Seabears. It was a tough go for the Seabears in the last part of the season, winning 2 of their last 6. Saskatoon came in winning 6 of 7. The Seabears didn't have Teddy Allen. They didn't have Jeremiah Tillman Jr. They didn't have Emmanuel Acott. They still don't have those three regular starters out of the lineup. Really didn't seem to matter in this game here against the Saskatoon Mamba. Against the Mamba, they only had 19 turnovers, they forced 19 turnovers. They only had two turnovers the entire game, not one quarter, not one half, the entire game. They only turned the ball over 2 times. 19 turnovers for Saskatoon. A lot of those were unforced, but Winnipeg's defense was phenomenal in this one. They really kept Tavian Dunn-Martin in check for most of the game, and by the time Tavian Dunn-Martin found his rhythm, it was too little too late for Saskatoon. It was a game that saw everybody having to chip in. The starters, or the last 5 players on the floor, were Simon Hildebrandt, Xavier Moon, Isaiah Osborne, and DJ Burns. A lot of those starters, with the exception of Jelani Watson-Gale, who had 27 points off the bench. He was an absolute closer. It was vintage Jelani, if you will, in that game. Really came alive in the fourth quarter, had some big buckets in target time, and then Xavier Moon put it to bed. And as Stat Guy Ty said last game, Xavier Moon has never lost a game in target score era playoff basketball. So he remains undefeated here, and he would love to do that today. But let's take a listen here. I went to practice yesterday. This is a strange schedule. I want to go off with this, or start off with this. They played Friday night. It's been not even 48 hours, and they are going to be playing in a little less than 2 hours. There's been very little turnaround, and they had to travel halfway across the country. I think the scheduling is nuts. I don't know why we're watching afternoon basketball on a Saturday. I would much rather this been at night. I think we could have done maybe a Thursday, Or you can go, yeah, no, I would do Thursday. I would have gone Thursday. I would have done the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference semifinals. Then you'd have your Western Conference day on the Friday, and then Saturday, the Eastern Conference final, and then maybe the Sunday, or have them both play on Sunday. I know one team would have more rest, but they're, or one conference would have more rest, but with a week between, or a little less than a week between these games and the finals, I think it would be fine. I think teams would have recovered. I really missed not having basketball yesterday, right? Like having a Friday night after the Thursday that we had, and then Friday night you're sitting there thinking, man, like I really wish we had more basketball. I was on a high after that Thursday night, and here we are on Saturday afternoon. It feels like Sunday. Like afternoon games for me are Sunday games. That's when you play in the afternoon. I think it's a little bit wild. Nonetheless, I'm still very excited for this, but it was just weird that at noon our time, if you're watching from Winnipeg, and I'm welcome to everybody from wherever you're watching. I know we have viewers, out in the UK, out in the United States. We have many throughout Canada, so appreciate you all being here. But in Winnipeg, it's a 12 o'clock start. Man, if you're in Vancouver, it's a 10 o'clock start for these games. Like 10 a.m., you're waking up on a Saturday, having your coffee, and it's like, boom, playoff basketball of all things. Like not just a regular game, a playoff basketball game. And then they have to get to the arena for 12:30 their time. It's just, it's a wild schedule for me on a Saturday. I don't know why it's been so tight. Even if they would have given themselves the Sunday for more travel, you may have seen on social media, Sea Bears didn't take any chances. They were flying there in style on the private jets to get out there, making sure that they're going to be in the best shape for this. But let's focus here on last game. A phenomenal effort from these guys. There was a lot of doubt going into that Saskatoon game. Once those guys were gone, I think a lot of people wrote off the Winnipeg Sea Bears. I was one saying that I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I didn't think that Saskatoon was far and away suddenly the favorites. In a lot of those games, Jeremiah Tillman Jr. didn't have a great game, right? I mean, it's great to have the big to battle with Jaden Bediako, who was a menace down low. But I thought with the guys that they had, you still had Xavier Moon. To me, that's the big thing. You've got Xavier Moon, who is the, all-time winningest MVP in this league, two-time champion. It's almost like that went out the window to people. I get it. It's a panic. Like two guys leave within 48 hours of your playoff game after the regular season, after you had so much consistency. But Sea Bears proved if, they can play with this team and they can play at a really high efficiency. They scored 99 points. And they allowed 88 on Saskatoon. But again, Saskatoon scored a lot of those in target score time. Again, just to make it a little bit more respectable, it was an 11-point loss, but I feel like it felt like more. Winnipeg led by as much as 17. They, I think, only like at 1 point, maybe 2 points in the game after they established a double-digit lead, did it fall to under double digits. It was really, really, I want to say phenomenal. Dominant. It was a dominant performance is the word I'm looking for. Here's Mike Rainbow talking about this yesterday morning at practice before they took off to Vancouver.
A lot of the little things that gave us a chance to be successful. I mean, if you look back, 2 turnovers for the game was really, really crucial for us. Controlling the game through transition defense, super imperative for us to do that, to limit their ability to hurt us from 3. So in terms of the guys' commitment to the game plan, I mean, it was exemplary.
Yeah, it was. They played phenomenally well. Here's some of this. You're going to notice some issues here as I put the videos up. I apologize in advance here. This is some of the technical issues we were having. But, everybody chipped in on this one. Xavier Moon played phenomenal. He was an assist away from a double-double. Here, let's see if I can share this screen while we're at it. But yeah, he was an assist away from a double-double. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks. I mean, he's only 6 foot something, like 6 foot and change. This is a point guard who was doing everything, kind of willing his way to this win. But he had the help. It wasn't all Xavier Moon, but he really did set the tone in this one. And it kind of got everybody going in the process as well. Just going to share the stat sheet here. Let's go. Well, here, let's take a look at, if you can see this here. This is all the head-to-head statistics. 47% from the field. They were 34% from three-point land. 48% or 48 rebounds here was the, that's where Saskatoon really won the battle, was in rebounds. We knew Winnipeg wasn't going to win the rebounding battle, but they fought for those rebounds. They made those ones tough, and they weren't giving up second chance opportunities. They had 35, which I think is respectable considering, the size of Saskatoon. It was a real team effort. I can live with that. If you won the game, that's all that matters. Who cares if they got more rebounds as long as you're getting more points? But look at Winnipeg's field goal percentage, right? 42%. Not as high a clip as Saskatoon, but look at how many shots they were getting. 84 shots in that game. 33% from the three. Foul shots, missed 4, not a big deal. 19 assists. They had as many assists as Saskatoon had turnovers, 5 blocks, 11 steals. I mean, it was just a complete game for this team. Jelani Watson-Gale had 27 points. Tavian Dunmartin had 28 for Saskatoon. Hildebrand had 8 of those rebounds. DJ Burns had 7. Xavier Moon had 6. And he had those 9 assists, as I said, leading everybody in that category. But you look at the guys that, really stepped up here. Isaiah Osborne, 19 points. He was, 4 for 10 from 3. He hit his first 2, and I think he was 3 for 4 at one point. So he did cool off a little bit, but he did exactly what he needed to do. As we mentioned before the game, if he gave you 10, 12, 15 points, that was great. He gave you 19. Trey McGowan's gave you 14 as well. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I thought he played very solid, particularly on defense, where he had a steal as well. But look at the defensive stats here for Xavier Moon. 4 steals, 2 blocks. Only 1 turnover. And the turnover he had, I don't know if you remember, it was just a miscommunication as he was coming over half, and he passed it directly to Jaden Bediako. And Bediako went the other way and turned it right over. So it was, no harm, no foul, so to speak. Pardon the pun on that one. But it really could have been 1 turnover. It was just such a freak turnover coming from Xavier Moon in that one. But, this was a team that I thought was really good. But without Jelani Watson-Gale and Isaiah Osborne breaking out of their slumps the way they did. Again, Taylor was on the post-game show. What did he say? He was like 4 for 30 in the last 4 games. And then, 4 for 10 in this game. That's a huge turnaround for Isaiah Osborne and Jelani Watson-Gale. Watson-Gale did not really play a good game since he returned from the UK, right? We were looking for that vintage Jelani performance and see him kind of catch fire in the fourth quarter. And he did that. Here's what, Mike Rainbow had to say about that, him particularly, Jelani Watson-Gale and Osborne finding their shots and just the entire contributions from the whole team.
I mean, we knew that we were going to need some people to step up, but we also knew that we did have a depth of talent that we've been relying on all season, and the opportunity was there for some people to step up and play a bigger role, and to see those guys flourish in those opportunities. I can't say that we were surprised by that, but super pleased to see them, play to the utmost of their ability.
Yeah, I mean, they did play to the most of their abilities. Here's Jelani Watson-Gale and Isaiah Osborne here on their performances.
To come into the game with confidence. Before the game, I just felt quite relaxed. Just wanted to play with confidence. So just going into the game, I knew that I was going to play with confidence. When the first few shots went in, just ice on the top.
I mean, it's always nice to make some shots, but in a playoff game like that, it's really important and, gets me going, gets everyone else going, and I mean, yeah, it's just nice to see. I mean, I've been playing for a while now, so, making shots is, I've done it before, obviously, so seeing them go in, obviously, it's nice, but, can't get too happy. You got to stay locked in, got to stay focused, and, when stuff like that happens, ball comes, you just got to be ready.
And he was ready. He was ready. Everybody was ready. Simon Hildebrand set the tone with that first 3 of the game. And John McTavish, welcome in, man. Good to see you. Cannot wait until tip-off. Boys need to keep that energy from last game. And I think that honestly is a massive benefit. If we're going to draw a benefit from this, they don't have to wait too long to get back into it. Like, energy's still high, right? Vibes are still high. If you can carry it, that's great. That was an interesting point, too, coming from Isaiah Osborne, right? I asked him in that question beforehand was, without Teddy, how did it change the look? Teddy Allen, someone asked if Teddy Allen's making the trip. I do not believe so. I don't have confirmation on that, but I would be shocked if he's flying for this one, if he's not going to be playing. He is on the active roster, so it created some confusion around the league, but I don't believe he will be on the trip here for this one. But of course, Teddy is their guy. He's, a teammate, was a leader on this team. This is a very tight knit team, right? I've talked about this in the past. It doesn't feel like last year's teams that were kind of felt like they were here for the paychecks a little bit more, right? Like it just didn't seem as cohesive. They didn't seem as close. There was a lot of turnover last year, so even if guys were gelling, someone was gone, someone was coming in. I know it frustrated a lot of fans, like, who are our guys, right? Like who are we rooting for? Who are our stars? Like, why is there a revolving door? And I understand that people are still saying that, right? A lot of people were real pissed when Acott and Tillman, announced they were going to join their teams overseas or in Mexico in Acott's case. Listen, man, this is just how the CEBL works. It's, if you could really look at the CEBL in really kind of three facets of the season, right? Like the three stages, like the first stage, middle stage, and the last stage. A lot of the guys coming in early are the guys, that they're trying out, guys that they're filling in while other guys are finishing their seasons, right? This is where the Armani Cheneys come in. They get their opportunity, then they find a full-time spot with another team, becomes a crucial part for some other team. That's what that's for. It's really more of the discovery stage of the season, right? Like, yes, you have your stars, and they tend to stay, right? Like the Teddy Allens or the Xavier Moons, although Moon was late, but those that do show up are expecting to play the entire time. Tillman Jr. wasn't planning on leaving. This came up and it had to go. These are the surprises that can happen. But I don't think we've seen a scenario where a team ranked this high lost that amount of guys in one small shot, right? Teddy Allen, again, not a choice. Like for leaving a team, it's, that was another thing. But the other two, Acott and Tillman, they chose to leave because when I say chose, they didn't really have a choice, I don't think. But regardless, it might happen. But the second phase is where you start building the team towards the playoffs, and you hope to hold as many as you can into that last phase. And then, you hope at that point you've got the gel and the chemistry to take you through, to that final phase into the playoffs. But, this wasn't lost on the team. Trey McGowan's talked to the media yesterday, too. And he said, we noticed, we're not blind to this. Like, we know what's happening, but this is a team that, even with those guys gone, there's not a panic like there seems to be with the fans, right? And there's certainly not an animosity like fans were feeling, saying, I'm going to cancel my season tickets. I'm not going to the playoff game. Like, well, this is still your team. It still says Winnipeg on the chest, regardless of the names on the back. So, that is a little discouraging when you see people like that, because at the end of the day, that's probably when the team needs you most. But anyway, here's Trey McGowan's talking about how the team came together through this and, what they noticed throughout the game.
I don't know. It was a little emptier than usual yesterday as well. Obviously, you see comments as well. We make jokes about it. But I mean, just being together and then just trusting our work. Everybody works really hard.
Yeah, everybody worked really hard. They talked about the not seeing that they've had jokes, right? He was saying, like, we were joking about this in the locker room about, like, we noticed the stands were a little emptier. We saw the comments, and they came together. I mean, if the team did their part in earning the fan base's trust with the team that they have. And I think if this was the team announced at the start of the season, everybody would be real excited. Xavier Moon, if we didn't know there was a Teddy Allen or Jeremiah Tillman Jr. and Simon was coming back, like if you take away where you are now and what you've experienced to this point, and you brought this team to the start, there would be a lot more excitement. I don't think it would be this dire going into the season that there's no stars on the team, right? Like it's all relative, and we get caught up in the moment. It's a frustrating thing because you think the team's playing well. It didn't help that they were not playing well in the last stretch, and then you lose two of your main guys. But sometimes that kind of a jolt can, as we've seen, can really lift a team up, and that's exactly what happened. But now they got to go to Vancouver, and I mean Vancouver. They had a strange game with Edmonton. I mean, it was 92-83 was the final score. Edmonton got off to a 9-0 run and then allowed a 15-2 run from Vancouver, right? Like this game had wild swings. Edmonton really did give themselves a chance, but they got cold in the last part of the fourth quarter that allowed Vancouver to put it away. But there were a lot of times in this game, Stat Guy Ty was sitting beside me in the post game. We were watching it live, and there's many times where you're thinking, oh shoot, man, like Edmonton might pull this off. We're thinking, like, are we staying in Winnipeg? Are we going to see the Sea Bears hosting, the Edmonton Stingers? Like, but anyway, Vancouver did end up winning, despite the fact that Mitch Creek was fouled out towards the end with a technical foul. Tyrese Samuel had a good game, double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds. Shamar Givens, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. I think he's going to be a key guy today that they're going to have to shut down between Moon and Trey McGowan's. I think particularly they're really going to have to lock in on that guy. Tevin Brown hit some big shots. He had 19 points. Michael Mulder, he's starting to find his stroke. I mean, he had one missed shot against Winnipeg in that last game of the year. This time he was 5 for 9 from the field, 3 for 7 from three-point land, but those were 3 pretty big three-pointers. Michael Mulder is now a guy off the bench they really have to pay attention to, right? John Knight III is another guy that can, get up if he needs to. Zimmerman played well against Winnipeg, was kind of a non-factor in this game for Vancouver, but you look at their rebound, they had 47 rebounds, 25 assists, and they had 15 turnovers in this game. So that's one where I feel like Winnipeg, if they can play that kind of basketball they did earlier and force those turnovers, that's an area where I think Vancouver can struggle. I don't know if their turnovers will be much better than 15 on a given day. They had 8 steals as well, but I said 25 assists, so they had 10 more assists than they had turnovers. It's going to be a tall task. Vancouver is good, and everybody seems to be clicking right now. Here's Mike Rainbow on what to expect with this.
Well, I think, we look at it the same way that we've been preparing for every game all season, similar to what we did yesterday. What are the important facets of the game that we're going to have to concentrate on? I mean, we know that they're great in transition. They're really, really dynamic in terms of creating three-point shots. I mean, you mentioned the bulk of talent that they have. I mean, the depth of talent that they have, and guys that can step up and make big plays is going to be a big challenge. But we have to take care of, the things that we can control. I mean, we definitely have to take care of the ball. We got to make sure we're organized transition defense, and we have to have the same commitment to scrambling and contesting and running down rebounds that we did yesterday. And the margin for error is probably just a little bit more thin.
Yeah, a little bit more thin's putting it lightly. I think it's a lot more thin than it was, in that Saskatoon game. Saskatoon did Winnipeg a lot of favors. So I don't want to, as much as it's great, the 2 turnovers to me is the big one. The 19 turnovers for Saskatoon, a lot of those were unforced, and they were getting those opportunities because Saskatoon was simply throwing the ball away early in the game, middle of the game, in target score time. So as much as it's great that they, there were 19 turnovers for the other team, some of those were just really dumb plays. Andrew saying, I didn't realize we took care of the ball that well. Totally. It was a clinic on how to take care of the ball at any level. If you can have that little, again, 2 turnovers for the Sea Bears that entire game. For those just tuning in, thanks for coming in. If you're on Instagram, hit that link below. Come in on YouTube, get in on the chat. Going to try to get to a few more here before Matt Bonomi and D Bulsara join us live from Brampton as they are just getting into halftime. Shot hit right at the end by Niagara. So holy cow. Yeah, Niagara going into half 45-40. Here, before we get to them, we're going to give them time to come on. Again, if you're new, like, subscribe, have those notifications on. Here's Trey McGowan's now on that this game here against Vancouver.
End of the season was a little different, just in regards to the import rule and make sure everyone played, and just everyone trying to find out how to mesh with so much turnover. And I feel like we did a really good job of that, and I feel like just knowing who's going to play and knowing everything's going into scout and everything, I think it'll help a lot.
The context there, Trey McGowan's didn't play in the last 2 games against Vancouver because of that import rule, right? They were trying to get Jelani Watson-Gale, his games and his minutes. Xavier Moon needed to play all 5 games. It wasn't a great situation. They managed to get Trey in a couple times before the end of the year, but he did sit out both of the Vancouver games, which is an incredibly different look. And that is something that I think is undervalued here. And I've talked about this in the other podcast. There's no more decisions to be made. It's easier on coaches. It's easier on players because you know who you have. No more tough conversations that you're sitting because you're an American or whatever, you're an import, and we just can't have you play because of the rules. Everybody on the roster is available, and they can go through their routines and not have to think the day before or 2 days before, am I going to be in the lineup? Am I not going to be in the lineup? I think that is a massive advantage. So Trey McGowan's is talking about that when he talks about the import rule and not having to worry about it. Everybody's going to play. The other thing is he brings a different look to Vancouver that they have not seen since July. When was the last time they played Stack Taiwan? Probably that game where they won, or they lost rather, Vancouver by 33, right? So they do have a new look that Vancouver hasn't seen. John's talking about the game yesterday or on Thursday. Yeah, confidence boost for these guys, and it all starts on defense again tonight, 100%. Drakenator, what's up, man? Good to see you. And here's Zexo. This is what we're having. We have the watch party. We have our boys joining us here in just a second. Brampton game on, but I always got to tune into the pod. What's up, Joey XO 204? Love you having you on here, man. This is great. And who's this? Totoro says DJ Burns matchup with Creek Samuel is going to be pivotal. 100% it is. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. In the meantime, let's bring our boys in. We've got Matt Bulsara. Actually, we probably have to do it this way because we've got Matt Bulsara, D Bulsara, Matt Bonomi joining live from a very loud Brampton CAA center. How's the game going so far, guys? A little deficit going into the second half.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you. A great turnout for Brampton fans. I mean, there's a lot of Niagara fans here too, Bonomi. But you know what? So we're going to move to a quieter area so we can hear you. The halftime performance is bumping right now. Give us like 2 seconds, all right?
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. They'll be back in just a second. We will get them excited to hear their take because I've only been watching with one eye here as they're in halftime. Let's get to more of these here. Did Teddy make the trip? I answered that one already from John. How much was the I actually don't have the attendance. Might be on here. Let me see. So it's funny they say that because the attendance figure is actually 6,037. So I don't know. Maybe it was in their heads because you've seen it. If you're in the game, sometimes the corners are a little sporadic and the ends. So I'm wondering if they were looking at the comments, as he said, and then saw some empty seats, and then they put 2 and 2 together on their own for motivation. Hey, whatever works, man. It did what they had to do. But yeah, so I don't think it was here. So here's from Tyler, or from Stack Tai. Reported attendance was about 500 under average for the season. Not sure how much it was actually down. And that's the other thing too, what it says in the final and how many people were actually in there, tough too. So yeah, thanks Stack Tai for coming up. That Vancouver versus Edmonton game was so difficult to watch at times. My blood pressure was suffering. Yeah, Bugs Twin, I hear you, man. That was for all of us, including the Sea Bears, not only because of who they're going to play, it's whether or not you got to get travel in the next day and what your next day is going to look like. You know, it's tough to know who your opponent's going to be, you know, close to midnight when you got to be on the road the next day by 2:30 and you got to play the day after that at 2:30. It's just a wild schedule. It's been, I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. I really hope that they, you know, they go back to looking at this on a better way to schedule it. That would be huge. Hayden says, yeah, brutal scheduling for playoffs, even Sunday finals. Yeah, like, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just everybody afternoon playoff basketball from Stack Guy Ty, sarcastically, 100%, man. This is not great scheduling. But it's not as much as it's a disadvantage to the Sea Bears, like the team and the players. Like, Vancouver is not any easier too. Like, thankfully you're staying at home, I guess, because it's not a lot of time to reset and prep for your next opponent. They probably were pretty sure they were going to play Winnipeg, but no one was sure after everything that happened, right? So, and that's it. Yeah, I think that has to do with it, John, like the CBC News and everything else. We've had that throughout the year, but yeah, the scheduling was not great. Zimmerman said Zimmerman hurt his arm, came off right away. I wonder if he'll even play today. And if he doesn't, it'd be huge. There's just one less big body, but he's not as effective a guy as, say, a Mitch Creek, right? So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's try our boys again. The Serta Boys, with their Serta Boys t-shirts, get out of town.
Check this one out. Get compliments on the sick Joanne. People trying to buy this shirt right off my pocket today.
We can barely hear you guys.
Oh, you can you hear us now? Is it better?
Yeah, I think it's coming through your phone and not your earpods.
Okay.
But
okay, I'm on it.
That's okay. You guys figure it out here. Well, you guys do that. Yeah, John's still the best crowd in the league by far, 100%. So, yeah.
Is that better?
Oh, this is so we have a little watch party going along here, guys. You're figuring it out. So XO204 saying Lion King with his half court shot there to end the half. John McTavish.
21 points in the first.
I'm gonna mute these guys for a second. John says they sure handled the rotation of the lineup really well, and they 100% did. It's crazy. Broadcast shows a ton of NRL fans, and we're gonna ask them about that right now. Let's get them back in here, see how it's doing.
All right, how's that?
You guys sound a little better. How is the fan base split between Niagara and Brampton right now?
Dude, it's a ton of. Niagara did a good job of promoting this, as did Brampton, but Niagara travels well. They have behind the Niagara bench, you can see it probably on the broadcast. They have a ton of people here. Like, there's a whole section of Niagara fans. People are screw-buying every time Khalil hits a three. I swear to God, someone's going to run on the court. I don't know what Michelle Biscup and company has cooked up over there. Man, they're like rowdy into it. It's loud when they score.
Yeah, well, what's the vibe? I mean, they're down right now, but I mean, Niagara. I keep saying with Niagara, as much as they were the lowest seed team, or not the lowest seed team, but they crept into the playoffs. This is the two-time defending champions, so it's not like this is a team that's a stranger. They have a lot of guys returning from those teams.
It's really weird because I think Brampton certainly has the momentum, and I always have to check up at the score to be like, oh wait, Niagara's only down like 4 or 2 points. But it's just every time they catch any sort of rhythm or they string any scores together, Khalil just keeps hitting his shot to break everything up. And it's just weird because it seems like Brampton's certainly been more dominant in that first half, but it's like Khalil that has single-handedly kept them in this game. And there's been a couple of fouls offensively that have gone Khalil's way, which has been really, really frustrating. But it's like that's kind of been the story of Khalil and how he plays, and it's really, really hard for these guys to cover him.
We said that the other day too. Like, once that guy, all he needs to do is get to the playoffs. Like we said, he kind of looked like a flat last couple of games. But all he needs to do is get to the playoffs. The other story of this one, Joey has been missed playoffs. Brampton has missed like 9
Points in the paint,
man. Like they have missed gimmies, and like we heard Olu yell from the bench, one of the assistant coaches. We just got a kick, I believe, overseas. Congrats to him. But he was yelling, man, like yelled at Tegra. He's like, man, slam them.
And to Matt's point, 6 for 21 in the paint. So they're shooting better from almost the perimeter than they are inside at this point. But like Matt said, they've missed a ton of bunnies.
The thing with Brampton too, like going back to the Niagara thing, and this championship, pedigree that they have. Brampton hasn't played a playoff game since before the Sea Bears were even in the league. Right. So this, there's got to be an air of excitement now, but that first game's out of the way. Now you're in this, a real chance to get the finals. Like, what's the temperature with Brampton fans right now?
It's tough. You know what? Here's the thing. We're so used to being behind the mics, and we really can't take it in. And I think we can both say we've been really impressed with the chants and them really getting behind this team. But to Matt's point, man, like Niagara's almost sort of drowned it out every time they score, have a big play. It's fascinating, but it's not really surprising at all.
It's like I said to you, like, what's better, the crowd the other day when Scarborough was here? Was it Scarborough?
No, Ottawa.
Ottawa was here, or Ottawa was here, or this crowd. And we said like maybe the crowd the other day, but I mean today is impressive. Though. I think it's a good crowd mostly, like not mostly, but a lot of Niagara fans. Brampton fans, I think, again, like you said, Joe, this is like new to them. Like, I feel like nobody really knows what to do with their hands. Shout out Brampton behind there. They're all like, what do we do with our hands? Like, with the woman beside us, she's like YMCAing up and down the baseline the whole time. S. Barahaney's here doing his hits. She's jumping in front of him. Like, the vibe's good. It's nice. The second half should be nice.
It's crazy. Brampton's shooting 36% from the field compared to Niagara's 44%. And in the first quarter, I didn't see that coming into the half. It's been a tale of 2 quarters so far. It'll be interesting to see how Brampton responds in the second half.
How good is Khalil Ahmad? 21 points in the first half. I mean, he's on pace for well over a 40-piece here if he keeps up at this pace. I mean, is this just as simple as them stopping Khalil Ahmad?
I legit said to Matt, if Khalil, and I mean, you will love to hear this, with Xavier on your team, but if Khalil takes this team to the finals and wins the championship, do you have to rename the award after Khalil Ahmad? Like, it's absurd at this point. Like, when this team needs it, I think, we all thought it, right? When it comes to the postseason, there's no better player at this time of the year than Ahmad.
We're seeing too, like, build a statue in front of the Meridian Center, but none of that cheap stuff.
You can't look like Cristiano Ronaldo.
None of that cheap stuff. Don't rust it out he's like the other thing that he's been crazy at so far is drawing fouls. Like we saw 2 fouls drawn in front of on offensive end. Like he took flips to the face, but they've drawn 5 fouls so far, which, as Joe Rouse always says, that's a stat you got to look at for defensive players.
And Serta and Whitley have brought it up several times as well when talking to them. Like when watching games of Niagara on the road, they're just like, Khalil just gets every call. And I mean, with the amount of respect that he has, the years he's put in, the accolades he's accumulated, like it sucks. Like he kind of has earned the draw of the whistle, and you can see the refs are really respecting that.
I honestly think if that were to happen, that Khalil Ahmad should probably have the playoff MVP trophy named after him.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, I agree.
Right, like have a crown for that one. Have the X for the regular season MVP. Because Khalil Ahmad's a whole different player when it comes to playoff basketball, and I think again he's almost like. Rarely is he even in the MVP conversation for the regular season. Like he had seasons where he is, but like this season, no one was like, "Hey, Khalil Ahmad, let's have him in the MVP conversation." But then the playoffs start, and then all of a sudden he's like, "No, this is my MVP. I conserved my energy for 24 games so I could go hard for 4."
It's funny because I think we can all agree when it came to CEBL All-Stars, like the second and first team. Wait, there wasn't a second team, right? No, there was. There was a second team. But when we're doing their ballots, it's like you're doing all the guys that stood out, and then when you get to Khalil, he quietly gets the numbers that he does, and it's just like, frig, we just always forget about this guy, and it's just that he does it in such a manner that like it just doesn't pop off the scoreboard. But when you get to the fourth quarter, when you get to target time, there's no other player you'd want on your team than Khalil.
Okay, wait, Joey, we got like a minute here before we jump back in. What was your prediction for the second half? Phoenix winning score.
Oh my God, Matt just loves doing this. This is Matt's fucking good. Oh, sorry, contested. I still think Brampton's gonna pull away. I think whatever firepower Niagara had, they exuded in the first half. And let's go. What's the score right now? It was a lower scoring game than I thought it was.
It's a 45-40 right now.
Yeah, let's go 87-82 Brampton.
87-82 Brampton. Okay, Joey, how much would you put in this second?
Here we go.
This is my expert pick.
The horn just went. Let's go.
Just kidding. Brampton by 6, 91-85 final.
All right. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for taking the time on this, man. This was awesome. Enjoy the second half. And I know you guys will be watching the Winnipeg-Vancouver game later to see whoever the winner is of this one. We'll be playing the winner of the next one, and our finals will be set for next Thursday. And you and I have a lot of programming to go throughout the week regardless. So enjoy the second half as fans. D, watch Bonomi. Keep him away from the booze cart. Okay?
Actually hold him back.
Yeah. Keep him away from the booze cart and from any fans or players. Let's keep him high up, okay? Not near court side. Stay up with Bonomi.
Don't let that stop you else.
All right, guys.
Last thing I want to say is me and my wife have talked about possibly going to Winnipeg or Vancouver for the finals. Should Brampton win the first game if they get to the finals? So we might have to do a live pod together, Joey. I'm just putting that out there for the CEBL fans that are watching.
Well, if we didn't need any more,
for free on the plane.
we didn't need any more motivation for a Winnipeg Brampton for these fans. I think they just got a bunch of fans in the second half. All right, take care, boys. We'll see you soon. All right, that was D Bulsara and Matt Bonomi having too much. No, I apologize. Update. So they didn't talk about this. Didn't have time. It's that guy Ty. But what happened was D gave him crazy FOMO, and the FOMO was what got him to actually not go to the game, to go to the tennis competition. Instead, he went to this game. So glad to see them out there. I love this from AAHB of lower attendance Thursday, maybe, but we are extra loud to make up for it. And that's 100%. That was like the loudest I had heard the Canada Life Center, like outside of target score time. So when this all lost, I just want to bring up one video file here because there was one more thing that I wanted to play, possibly two, from head coach Mike Rainbow. I lost all my videos.
Well,
I don't know what's going on with my. No, I'll take this off for now. No idea what's going on with my software here. Hopefully this sets itself or fixes itself as we go on into the
Well,
next few days here, as we have just a few days left. It's crazy that the season ends next week. Here's the thing. I think for post game Stat Guy Ty, we might do a super one. We'll wait and see, because it's going to be kind of chaos to do it while the Sea Bears are playing. So we might just wait for kind of like a super post game, since we've got everybody there. Chris Wiggins won't be able to make it because he's got to go work the BC Lions game right after. He's on the call doing sidelines for this conference final game in Vancouver. But we'll figure something out. There will be a post game for sure, at least for our side. So we could break it all down. And Smirkio came in right out of the gate saying he's nervous. Yeah, so hopefully the post game will be a win. You guys are always a lot more fun when it's a win. Smirkio says easy turnaround for Niagara since they just drive 45. That's what I'm saying, Smirks. Like, from the East Coast, this doesn't seem like a big deal. On the West, this is so hard. Like, this was a wild turnaround, and the expenses that go into flying, to Vancouver, particularly the way that the Sea Bears did on PJs, private jets, to ensure that there was no issues like they had last time they were in Vancouver, trying to eliminate any disadvantage. It's just crazy, like how they all have to take a bus. Like, worst case scenario, you're going to Montreal from Toronto. Like Scarborough to Montreal, I think, is the furthest trip that you can make. Maybe no, actually, that's a lie. Probably Niagara to Montreal, but that would still be like at most a 3-hour bus ride, maybe like 4 hours. I have no idea. It's just everything is so much closer out there than it is here. And it's just again, I don't think it's going to affect the Sea Bears like it did on that Vancouver game last time. They went above and beyond to ensure that they would be as rested as possible with the quick turnaround. Vancouver's also, their turnaround's even shorter when you think of it that way. Like, they played a later game, so it'll be an earlier turnaround for them too. So, there's that. It kind of evens out, I think, in many ways. But yeah, that's what John was saying. East teams definitely have the travel advantage, for sure they do. And the schedule's dumb. Like, I don't know. I've seen people on here. Yeah, the GO train, 100%, John. But as we're talking here, like, it's crazy. It's like going to be 1:30 here soon. Brampton got a 3 to start. 49-46, third quarter just getting underway here, about 2 minutes in. But yeah, like, why are we watching basketball at noon on a Saturday in the summer, right? Like, that is just asking for dedication from the dedicated fans, and it's not really doing any better to get the casual fans in. So I'd love to see that changed. Cool that you get your Saturday evening, but like, I'd rather, like, it's prime time, man. This is prime time sports. You want it at night. If you're going to do the afternoon, it has to be Sunday, and it has to be like late afternoon. You don't do it at noon. Like, you're doing it at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It shouldn't be any earlier than 2 o'clock Pacific time if you're doing that on a Sunday. It's the playoffs. This isn't the regular season. And even someone had mentioned it. I'm not going to go back and find it. But someone was mentioning, the fact that it's like the broadcast. There's no broadcasters on site. There's just there's the sideline reporter. I mean, the guys are calling it out of Toronto, and it's in Brampton. If you've ever been to Toronto, that's like a suburb of Toronto. It's not a big deal. But they had a live crew in Vancouver for the quarterfinals, but they don't have it for the rest. Whatever. There'll be no broadcast crews either, I don't believe, for the on-site for the finals either. But, really hoping that they rethink that, because this is the best time of year for the CEBL. It's great basketball. I don't have to tell you guys that. But here we are. And, I know Sea Bears Nation's going to be primed for this one. Everybody's going to be at their TVs or have their phones watching this wherever they are today, and we're going to have our post-game show right after. There's no time of day it's going to stop me from watching, and I know it's not going to stop you guys. So, here we go. And this is from Boat Showdown. What's up, Boat Showdown? Let Watson Gale cook again tonight. I don't anticipate him to have another 28 or 27-point performance, whatever it was. But, man, if he can replicate that performance, like even just in terms of 9 for 14 from the field, 64%, 3 points, he was 60%. I mean, just a great showing in his just shy of 30 minutes, 29 minutes of play for Jelani Watson Gale. Would love to see him, replicate that. It would be huge for the Sea Bears. Here's from Smirkio. I'm predicting Trey Mack to have a big game, and JWG continues his heater, and Moon will be Moon. That's the most consistent thing. I think Moon is going to be Moon regardless of what's thrown at him. Let me just get through these couple of clips here. One I might have already played already. I just don't remember. But this is just Mike Rainbow looking ahead. I'll play them back to back here about the Vancouver. Oh, actually, that's a lie because they're the same clip. So let me remove this one, see if I can bring up the other one as we are talking. Because I want to get his comments on a couple. Oh, that's not the one either. What am I doing here? Come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. There we go. Oh, I hate this program right now. Oh, we got Wiggy here. You guys want to hear from Chris Wiggins? He's loading. All right. Well, while he's loading up here, let's see if I can get my other comments from Mike Rainbow. I don't know why this isn't coming up. Might just pop up randomly here. So let's wait and see. Okay.
If you look at their lineup, they're definitely playing well. They're playing well together. I mean, Creek comes in there and just stabilizes everything. You know, he's the veteran presence. He obviously has the ability to impact the game inside, outside, on the defensive end, on the glass, but passing, making plays to create for other people. So, I mean, there's no lack of talent on their side, and we know that we're going to have to play our best game to be in the game.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to have to play their best game. And here's the other one that he had a little earlier.
That we've been preparing for every game all season, similar to what we did yesterday.
I don't know what's happening.
You know, what are the important facets of the game that we're going to have to concentrate on? I mean, we know that they're great in transition. You know, they're really, really dynamic in terms of creating three-point shots. I mean, you mentioned the bulk of talent that they have. I mean, the depth of talent that they have, and guys that can step up and make big plays is going to be a big challenge. But we have to take care of, you know, the things that we can control. I mean, we definitely have to take care of the ball. We got to make sure we're organized transition defense, and we have to have the same commitment to scrambling and contesting and running down rebounds that we did yesterday. And you know, the margin for error is probably just, you know, a little bit more thin.
Yeah, a little bit more thin, as we mentioned. It's way more thin with Vancouver. All right, here's our guy, Chris Wiggins. What's going on, my friend? Welcome into post-game live here. You're live courtside, so we were just in Brampton with Bonomi and D Bulsara. Now we're going pre-game in Vancouver with Chris Wiggins. What's the vibe like inside LEC?
There you go. Get that right, please. Is it too loud here?
No, you're good. Believe me, after the audio we had with the other two, you're crystal clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good. Just wrapped up my pregame interviews with Mike Rainbow, Xavier Moon, Mitch Creek, and Kyle Julius. Yeah, vibes are good. Winnipeg looks good. They look fresh. No flight troubles. Smooth sailing, Mike Rainbow said. So I'm expecting a way different basketball game here today. Winnipeg's going to put up a very good fight.
Well, there's no secret. The players had their Instagrams out last night, and they flew in style. There's no reason for any kind of jet lag in the way they got there. So, but they weren't going to take any chances, that's for sure. Vancouver now, on the other hand, Chris, you know, they had a bit of a testy game. I thought it was a great playoff game, a great playoff win for Vancouver. Mitch Creek gets, you know, ejected at the end with that last technical. They overcome it. You know, they were down 9-0 to start the game, and then they go on a 15-2 run. It was a game of wild swings in that one. How did you feel about Vancouver's game against Edmonton and how it sets them up here for Winnipeg?
Yeah, it got pretty quiet here to start the game when they were up, 7-0, 9-0. Surprised Kyle didn't call an earlier timeout, but I knew that they'd bounce back, but fans were holding their breath, right? Like, again, postseason struggles for this team too, like some demons lingering, and yeah, I know it got a little quiet here in the first quarter. Then they chipped away. I thought the third quarter was a mess for Vancouver, and then even in target time, that could have gone either way too, right? Like Mitch Creek gets his fifth foul. It's that technical. Is it 6 in the CEBL? I can't remember. Is it 6 or 5?
It's 5.
Right?
It's 5. Yeah, you're 5. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was 6 because the stat sheet was wrong. But anyways, yeah. So he gets ejected, and if Mike Mulder misses that shot, you just have no clue how things are going to change. Right? What if Edmonton goes on another run and things get really spicy? I talked to Kyle this morning at practice, and he said that shot from Mulder, arguably one of the biggest shots, if not the biggest shot in franchise history. Because again, if Mitch goes out, if that shot doesn't go down and Edmonton goes on a run, you know, all the momentum was with Edmonton at that point. With Mitch going down, you just never know what happens. So, you know, I thought the third quarter was a mess, but other than that, they looked pretty good.
I think you might have heard, Mike Rainbow talking about Vancouver's, completeness right now. And one of those, or two of those players for me is Shamar Givens, who started the season off the bench. Now he's been your core point guard, just phenomenal at the position. And then you've got Michael Mulder, who's found his shot. How important are these guys finding this rhythm at this point of the season, going into the conference finals, a place that they're very comfortable in? They've been there the last three. Well, they haven't been in the conference final last year, pardon me, but they've been in the second round the last 3 years.
Yeah, I was on the Winnipeg radio station yesterday with your boy. On
Christian O'Mell on 680 CJOB.
CJOB, okay, yeah. And I was telling him this, look, like Mike Mulder, and Kyle said it too, is peaking at the right time. Mike took 2 years off of pro basketball after some stints in the NBA and G League, Golden State, Orlando. Takes 2 years off of pro basketball, and Kyle said he was here 8 weeks early in Vancouver, 2 days, 3 days, getting his body right, getting his, legs back under him, and trying to build up that confidence. But I think it took a little longer than Mike wanted it to. He's got, high standards for himself as a pro, and it just, it's starting to click now for Mike Mulder. I think that game, there's one game on the road in Edmonton they won right after Kyle left, and Mike hit 6 threes. I thought the game here on Sunday when Winnipeg had those flight troubles, like Mike was just unconscious. So he's kind of peaking at the right time. But yeah, the Canadians, man, right now. Shamar Givens will start today for Jarkel Joyner. Jarkel will play, but Shamar will be in the starting lineup. He's been outstanding. That 18, assist performance against you guys. He had 20 and 7 or 8 last night. So, he's not only distributing, but he's scoring, and he's forcing defenders his aggressiveness to pay attention. And thank you for the water. Hey, you missed me. Thank you. And Tyree Samuel, right? Reigning Canadian Player of the Year, probably a pick in, for many reporters or many broadcasters, many league, personnel across the league. So, the Canadians really stepped up against Edmonton, which is great to see, right? That's what you want to see in this league.
Oh, yeah, and it's it's going to be a battle of Canadians, too, with the scenario that Winnipeg finds themselves in. They have 4 imports now, I guess, without Teddy. But, yeah, that's the one thing that Winnipeg was saying, now we don't have to worry who's in the lineup and who's not based on nothing but a rule. And Vancouver hasn't seen Trey McGowan's for 2 games at least now. I want to just bring this up. This is from Hav, I don't know, AAHV. He's a viewer here that we're happy to have aboard. He says, is Julius listed as Van's head coach for today? He is, and he was coaching last game too. What's the difference with? What's that?
He'll be head coach today.
Yeah. So what is the difference with Kyle Julius behind the bench as opposed to Rans Brempong, who really coached the second half of the season for Vancouver?
Yeah, Kyle said to me yesterday, it's the most collaborative effort it's been yet. Excuse me. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Kyle. Yeah, he said it's the most collaborative effort yet. I think they all wanted Kyle's energy back on the bench, and he gives all the credit to Rans for continuing the success through the later part of the season. But it was a pretty unanimous decision all the way down the bench to have Kyle kind of come in and take over again. And Kyle said it's pretty special to be back. His wife thinks he planned it, that he's all of a sudden back in BC, and he's supposed to be helping her pack boxes and move back to Ontario. But I think it's just an energy. It's finishing what they started. And Rans is still Kyle's still making sure that all their voices are heard. Rans, Matt Barr, Louis Alaphine, again, collaborative effort. But for me, I now can hear what the head coach is saying again in the timeouts. Rans is so quiet, man, and I had to do this to listen to Rans. Kyle's so loud, and I don't have to lean in as far. But so I'm thankful. But yeah, no, it's been a great again group effort, and it's nice to have Kyle back. Yeah, kind of a fun story.
So I'll ask you this too, because as much as they haven't seen Trey McGowan's, this is a totally different team from even just a few days ago in Vancouver, right? Without Jeremiah Tillman, without Emmanuel Acott, who had a great game against Vancouver. Acott did in what was a blowout win for Vancouver, and no Jeremiah Tillman Jr. What is the challenge? You talked to Kyle Julius. What is the biggest challenge or benefit from them not having 3 of their main starters throughout the season in this game in the conference final, especially after a big win against Saskatoon?
Yeah, I said this to Christian yesterday on the radio station as well. Like, I think Winnipeg is all the pressure's on Vancouver, right? I think Winnipeg will play for free, and teams like that may or may not be the underdog or have a new lineup that maybe some other teams really haven't got accustomed to yet. Way different look than what we saw on Sunday. I just think they'll play more free. It'll be a closer game today. Kyle says that Winnipeg is better with just one of Xavier and Teddy Moon. I don't know if it's Teddy Allen. I don't know if it's like a too many cooks in the kitchen thing, but Kyle seems to think that they're a better team when it's just one of them, either Xavier or either Teddy. Your boy's got his Deadpool shirt on warming up, so I talked to him about that pregame too, which he's brought that back out tonight. And I know he saw the comments from Tyree Samuel of the battle of the superheroes here today. Yeah, man, I think you just can't we just can't take any team lightly in the CEBL, especially in the playoffs. Right? We saw with Niagara and Scarborough and Brandon, they were down a few bodies, some big bodies. But yeah, I mean, you just can't take them lightly. They've got lots of confidence after their first playoff victory. The entire city of Winnipeg is behind them. They probably have the best fan base in the CEBL in terms of passionate. The way they're covered across the city, and they've got a lot of people behind them. Right? So it's going to be a tough team to play against.
Yeah, sorry, Stat Guy Ty just bringing up the quote here, just because people were asking how Julius is coaching. So just putting that up for everybody to see what the comments were for when he was brought back after Rans Brempong. But
hey, let me ask you a question here that Christian asked me, and I'd be interested to hear your answer on it too, Joey.
Yeah, go.
He talked to me about Mitch Creek and how Mitch is back, and he asked me what my thoughts were on the rule in the CEBL that allows players to just kind of come and go and only play 3 games or 5 games and still qualify for active for 5, on the floor for 3 and still qualify for playoffs. He goes, do you agree with that rule? What are your thoughts on that rule? And I said, all bias aside, I think it's a funky rule. To have a guy miss 10, 11 games and then all of a sudden come back and, be our best player, it's a little gimmicky, in my opinion. I'm sure the CEBL will kind of, take a look at some changes this offseason. They always do, but that was my opinion. Granted, Mitch is my favorite, one of my favorites that have come through this organization and the CEBL. He's just a great dude, top to bottom. Takes care of his mental health like nobody I've ever seen. Just awesome to talk to. Always colorful when you interview him. Gives you the time of day. And so, aside from that, I do think that rule was a little wonky, and I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, no. Again, I've talked about this. I think the league is better when you have players like Mitch Creek in it, but it is weird because at the end of the day, he wasn't in it for a lot of it. So all of the value that you get from a guy like that who comes in, Xavier Moon, for instance, had to play his 5 games, but he played in all 5. I almost wish it was a true 5 rule that they can't just be on the active roster, or they have to at least be on the bench, right? They can't be in another country. I thought it was just used to the absolute advantage to the player, but it gives the player a lot of control. So I would like to see it changed to at least them being on the bench. They don't have to dress, but they should be with the team. Not stock. What am I trying to say here? Stockpiling players that, might or may not be here. So I would like to see that changed, definitely, because, I want to see Mitch Creek on the floor too. I don't think it's fair that he's on the active roster and he's not even in the country. I want to see him playing in the regular season. This is what we tune into all those games for. I don't just care to see an all-star team out of nowhere in the finals. Now, on the flip side of this, there is some risk with that from the team as well, because if the team brings in a guy and it messes up any kind of chemistry. I mean, you just talked about Teddy Allen being gone and how, Kyle Julius believes the mall moves better. Sometimes when you bring in a ball-dominant person, it could disrupt things too. So it is a little bit of a risk. I don't think it is with Mitch Creek. In this case, he's got, a lot of chemistry with these guys already, but I would like to see it that at least if they're on the active roster, they're in the city and they're on the bench, that, people could at least see them. I think that would be what I'd want to see. So anyway, I know you got to get going here, Chris. Appreciate you coming on here before the game. Have a great call, man. It was awesome watching you on TSN the other day. So for those who are watching, it's on TSN, CBC, and then all the streaming as well. And Chris will be our sideline guy repping both teams. So Chris, have a lot of fun today, man, and enjoy your conference final, man. This is awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game from over there, and thanks for having me on, guys. I'll check in maybe post-game, too. How's that?
If you have a chance. I already told them you're a BC Lions guy, so if you can, that'd be awesome. We're probably going to do some sort of super post-game show. So come in if you can. We'll talk to you then, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Enjoy. That's Chris Wiggins joining us courtside from Langley Event Center, which was awesome. We've got everybody in here. So hold on. Here's Stat Guy Ty's got a bunch of opinions on this too. I agree with Stat Guy Ty on this. I think they should have to dress. I don't like this fact that they can be on the active roster for 5. They're not even in the country. Then they play a few minutes in 3 games, and now suddenly, you've got this, ace up your sleeve that you can throw out for the playoffs. And I'm not, again, kind of like Chris said, like if this were Winnipeg, I would still have the same feelings. This wouldn't change how I feel about the rule. And for fans, like if they did this with Xavier Moon, all right, they put him on the active roster, which like arguably they probably would have done if he wasn't here. Let's say it was a similar situation where he's playing for the national team or whatever. But you'd be a little frustrated because look how frustrated people were when Tillman left for the playoffs, and even when Trey Scott left, there was a level of disappointment. You want to see the players play all season, not just in the playoffs. Like you want to get to know these players and feel like you have a connection with these guys. And I feel for the fans in Vancouver to an extent too that we're just like, is Mitch Creek coming? It was kind of a mystery. I didn't like how it was handled from a communication standpoint. Like it shouldn't be used as a gamesmanship leverage. You have to serve the fans first. The fans want to know, right? If I'm going to Vancouver, if I'm spending my money, am I going to see the guy that I want to see or am I not? I think that is just fair for them to know before they invest in, whether it's going to a team or investing their afternoon to watch the team. I don't think it's going to deter people. They'll still watch Vancouver, but why do you want them to go in with that disappointment that, oh, maybe he's here, fingers crossed, right? Like, I think there's got to be a better communication from teams with players and who's in and who's not. And then also, they should be playing. I think it's a 5-game play rule. I don't want to see I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see the players coming in for 3 games and then suddenly, all is good. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know. So anyway, regardless, it is what it is. These are the teams that are going to be there, and you know what? It's I'm glad it's best on best. It's Mitch Creek against Xavier Moon, right? You got Shamar Givenson there, who's been one of the best guards. Michael Mulder, former NBA guy. You've got CEBL guys that have been legends in this league in their own right, like the Jelani Watson Gales, Isaiah Osborne. Winnipeg's the underdog in this one, like flat out. With the Saskatoon one, people kind of fabricated the underdog, I think, a little bit too much. This one, they are the underdog, and that's fine. I don't think they're as far an underdog as people might anticipate or saying they are or feel they are, kind of like I didn't feel like Saskatoon was that much more favored in the last game. But Winnipeg has to have another game like they had against Saskatoon. Absolutely have to take care of the ball, have to move the ball around. And Andrew, I'm talking about the appearances here. I'll let you guys air out or as many as I can here in the next 5 minutes. Before we get ready for our game here coming up in less than an hour now. Andrew says, and Andrew, thanks for the comment. Thanks for everybody for the comments. I'll get to as many as I can. That is still silly in my opinion. Should be 5 active 5-game appearances, or at the very least dressed on the bench. I 100% agree with you. I think this is, you guys want to see the best players in the league as much as you can, right? 100%. Leagues, this is from Totoro. League's biggest priority should be transparency this offseason. Make it easier for casual fans to follow the league. If I could frame this comment, I would frame this comment. I would put it in the CEBL Hall of Fame. I can't agree more. You know, it's again, the league is new. It's gone through some major changes, right? There's a new leadership in there. You know, Mike Morreale had been there for 7 years. They're trying to, you know, tread the waters with new people that are new to this. So I give them some grace. Everybody's got to learn as they go along. And I thought they did the right thing by announcing and making a statement about what happened in Scarborough between Brampton and the Shooting Stars. But again, it still left questions like, okay, so why didn't Powell get suspended? And why did the others get suspended? Why did they get fined? I'm not even one that, like, I know people are like, I want to know how much they were fined. For the Miles Powell, I did, because I want to know, is it a deterring fine? Like, that's going to deter this kind of behavior in the future. But for me, I want to know the suspensions, or that they were fined, right? I'm not so much worried about the amount as much as I'm worried about action was taken. It has to serve the fans. It has to serve the media. You want coverage of this league. They need these storylines. They need to know who's in, who's out, what the suspensions were for, why they're getting the suspensions, so that they can break it down and deliver it to the broader sports audience. Like, that is the key to growth. And so, you know, Totoro, great comment. I agree with you 100%. And I'm not saying this I don't believe they're doing this in like they're trying to do this. I don't think it's like they're trying to blindside the fans. I honestly think they're just like, how do we handle this? Right. And everybody's doing a million different things trying to, and let's be honest, the last week of this season, regular season, last 3 days of that regular season was the most chaotic end to a season I've ever seen in my sports career in any sports, from the NHL, CFL, CEBL to junior hockey. I've never seen anything like it. It was nuts. And so I give a little grace, but I agree with you 100%. Now you got to look at it. This is how it's being perceived, and I don't think it's out of line. And I think that 100%, this will be something that they will take in account going into the off season. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure it is, but yeah. Hold on, man. You guys are really firing up on the chats here. John McTavish says, I kind of like the underdog role. Could keep everyone playing free and loose. That's what Chris Wiggins just said, man. All of the pressure is on Vancouver in this one. Listen, Vancouver's been on the doorstep. They lost by, a basket in the finals on a Khalil Ahmad killer. They lost last year on, a very controversial end in the conference semifinals against Calgary on home floor. And I don't think Kyle Julius or Mitch Creek will be back next year. So this is like your last window with the dream team, as they would refer to them as in Vancouver, of Julius, like him or not, has done a lot for the culture in that team. Same with Mitch Creek. This is the end of their window. There's not really windows in the CEBL, but this team has certainly had one, and it was phenomenal. So yeah, we'll see what happens here, because I don't think the pressure is on Winnipeg. I do like that. Sorry, Andrew says it's lagging. Sorry about that. Hopefully it's not too bad. And another one from John, because I agree with this. The promotion, the marketing. Yeah, these are all things they have to look at, right? The people, for a long time, I felt like the league was really pushing the league on the broadcast to people that are already there, and kind of selling how great it is to have a Canadian league and Canadians playing and this opportunity, which is all true. And I agree with it 1,000,000%. But let's just let the basketball happen, man. The people that are there to watch basketball. They know the talent of this. They understand the rules. You could not say you don't have to talk about it, but I think there was just so much of an emphasis where now we could just call the games, right? And that's what I try to do when I'm calling the games. I just enjoy calling a basketball game. These players are good. I like giving background of these players, right, that happen to talk about they're Canadian if they are, or where they came from in the U.S., how they found their way to Canada. Those are all part of the fun stories to get to know these players a little better. But I agree with you. The promotion needs to happen on the outside to get some new eyes in. So this is Stat Guy Ty. The controversial end last year was video reviews that drag target score time forever. I was doing the sidelines for that one last year in Vancouver, and it was the most hostile environment I've ever been in for that. But hey, what's up, Phoebes? Joey, when we win today, we're going to have to do a video. Get in the comments if you'd like Phoebus De La Paz, the great Phoebus De La Paz, and I getting together for a recap on this one after the game is done. So get in the comments. Let us know what you think. I've shown Phoebus's work on this before, so you know Phoebus. If you haven't, if you don't know the name, you know the work because it's all over social media, and he does a great job, phenomenal job at doing the cinematic recaps. Yeah, this is crazy, man. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a how many bottles did you get hit by? A few landed by me when I was doing the stand up or the walk off interview with Jameer Nelson Jr. But this is the one that hit me, and I kept it as a little memento. It's those little CBL sponge balls, the promotional ones. I don't know why you give this out before a playoff game, but they gave out this before a playoff game. That was being thrown at us while we were doing the interview. So got a cool memento, fun little basketball there. And yeah, it'll be great. Listen, guys, get out of here, Stat Guy Ty. You probably deserved it. Yeah, no, I probably did. And I hope the next ones are directed at the stat table because I think you deserve a few too, right? I'm putting myself out there, Stat Guy Ty. I'm taking them. We got to start flinging the soft, what are these? Foam balls at Stat Guy Ty. We need a Joe. We need people in the comments backing Joey here. I can't compete with Stat Guy Ty's typing abilities, so I need you guys to help me out a little bit here. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the quote from Mitch Creek. Andrew brings it up. I said I was going to the pub for a beer. I had 10. You can't believe everything I say, Mitch. That was when he was talking about whether or not he was going to come back earlier this year. So yeah. He was that was a quote that went pretty viral from Mitch Creek. But listen, he's back. Everything is set. I saw I don't know if I still have it lined up here. If I do, starting today for the Sea Bears, Xavier Moon, Isaiah Osborne, Trey McGowan's, DJ Burns, and Simon Hildebrandt. I like the starting lineup. I really do. I know it's not what we are used to, but I look at Xavier Moon, who's a floor general. Someone said in the comments, I don't have time to go back and look for it, but it was something along the lines of, does he have the stamina to do this again a second game? And the answer is very much yes. He's done this his whole career. He's played in longer seasons. He had a long break before these 5 games. That did not have any wear and tear on him, I don't believe. This guy takes care of his body. He's a true pro. He's played at the highest levels and is, played well at the highest levels, including the NBA with the LA Clippers. And he was born in a family of NBA players. His uncle, Jamario Moon, played for the Toronto Raptors in the NBA when he was younger. So he knows this lifestyle more than anybody. Isaiah Osborne, again, I think getting him the ball early, allowing him to get his shot, settle into his shot will be key. Trey McGowan's did not play in those last 2 games against Vancouver, which were both losses. So, for Trey McGowan's, I think to borrow Cannonball Chris's term, wants to be shot out of Neffin Cannon in this one to prove that I'm a difference maker. And DJ Burns is the emotional driver in this, and Simon Hildebrandt is who got it all started in the first place. So I like who they have out there today, and I think they're in a good position here. Whoever wins today is going to have to earn it. Flat out. These are the 2 best teams in the Western Conference. DJ Burns talked about it last game in our last pregame show. This is a team that was built on the next man up mentality. This is a close team. They understand it's not great to have Teddy Allen and Jeremiah Tillman and Emmanuel Acott. They had to go through this when they lost Trey Scott. DJ Burns was one of those guys to step up when that happened. And yesterday we saw other guys step up. So let's put it this way. This team is still a championship contender as built, even without Jeremiah Tillman Jr., Teddy Allen, and Emmanuel Acott. And these guys want to win for Teddy. Xavier Moon is wearing a Deadpool t-shirt in honor of the Deadpool Wolverine, quote after that 54-point game. It's a brotherhood, right? And we talked about this with Trey McGowan's too. Like, they've been in the group chat, the Trey Scotts, the Emmanuel Acotts, the Tillmans. Like, they're all part of this team. This is a team game, even though they're not here. All the guys that dedicated a good chunk of their summer, right, that they could have had with family, and they don't get to play in this championship game. That's tough, right? Like, as I said to Josh Frey Sam yesterday, and at morning shoot around, and a couple of the other reporters, I'm like, I think these guys are out there probably not so happy that they're out, running lines, getting ready in a training camp and doing conditioning drills while their team that they helped get to the playoffs are fighting for a chance at the finals. They want to be here, right? So, as much as you guys are upset that they left, we get that. But if you start holding players back, they're not going to come in the first place, and you won't have playoff basketball. So it's one of those things that it's tough, and it hurts to see them go. but they helped you get to this point. It's up for the next guy to take that baton and run this thing home. And tonight is the biggest challenge yet with the Vancouver Bandits, a rival, a team that has beat them 3 out of the 4 times they played. And they're doing it in a very hostile LEC environment. So if they can do this one, they're in great shape going into the playoffs, because the winner of this game, regardless, whether it's Vancouver or Winnipeg, is going to host games 2 and 3, a.k.a. the trophy games of the CEBL Finals. And that is going to be fun basketball, and everybody on that floor knows what's on the line. You're going to see it all laid out tonight, or today. Should be tonight, but today. And I hope you all enjoy it. I just want to bring up Phoebes here. X going to peak tonight, and the finals, I feel like he's going to be cruising. And Trey, I can feel, is going to have a big game today. And then John says, love the extra floor time for DJ. His energy is infectious. I 100% agree. Andrew saying, I like DJ and Simon side by side, complement each other well. Yeah, these guys, like, again, see, like, now we're starting to get over it. We saw what they can do. The optimism's there. I think this is a great complementary lineup. They got to keep the turnovers down. I don't think it's going to be 2. I think there's going to be more, but they got to make sure that on the defensive end, they're getting back in transition and not letting Shamar Givens get on the run with Mitch Creek. And again, Tyrese Samuel is going to be tough, but he is a guy they're going to have to battle on the boards. But the rebounding is going to be huge for this team. They have to rebound as a team. And I think a lot of these, they'll get out on the run. They'll get their transition buckets, but I think the focus on this one is going to be, let's not worry about get on the run. Let's worry about getting that possession. And we got to fight the Tyrese Samuels and Mitch Creeks of the world, for those, each one of those rebounds, and get the possession. And then Moon can do what he does from there, right? We saw it. There weren't a lot of transition, but there were a lot of quick, fast break type baskets, because Xavier Moon just puts on the afterburners and cuts through the defense, and he's putting in a layup between 2 or 3 defenders. Like, that is how good he is. That is just as good as transition for these guys, right? So if they can hammer down low, get things going, I think it'll put them in a great position to win. But again, Vancouver is there with, they're there with the kind of motivation that simply just can't be, it can't be replicated. This is a team that has absolutely struggled throughout, when I say struggled, they've had heartbreak. It's not really a struggle. They've been heartbroken many times in the finals, where they lost to Niagara, last year to Calgary. They understand that this is everything, and if they miss this, it's a total reset in Vancouver. New coach, new players, new culture. It is going to be it's going to be a tough one. It is absolutely going to be a tough one for this team if they were to fall to this one. And I think there's going to be a desperation in that one, unlike anything that we've seen before with the Sea Bears playing, their opponents. We talked about it, that end of the season, how many teams they played that were fighting for their playoff lives, right? Trying to get into the playoffs and trying to, to emulate this playoff experience, and it did not go well. I will say this. If it didn't go well in this one, I hope you learned the lessons as to why it didn't go well, and you can make those adjustments in this game. If you can make those adjustments of, what we didn't do wrong, where we didn't meet the intensity, now the pressure's on you. This is a do or die game. It's no more emulation. This is the real thing, and it's the real thing for Vancouver. Winnipeg, as Mike said, great moment to win their first playoff game at home and have a guy like Jelani Watson-Gale in there, who was part of that original team who lost that first game at home, was phenomenal. You have to turn the page on that, and now the goal changes. It's not about winning the playoff game. It's about getting to the finals, and that's not looking ahead. That's tonight, because if you win tonight, you are heading to the finals. So they have to focus on Vancouver. They have to shut down Mitch Creek, and they have to make sure they slow down Shamar Givens, and they will give themselves a great opportunity. If you haven't already, thanks for everybody that tuned in today. All of the comments, you guys are great. We'll be back with the post-game show shortly after the game. So like and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. Have your notifications on, because you will get the notification when we go live tonight after the conference final. That is in Vancouver, the Winnipeg Sea Bears trying to get to the CEBL Finals that'll take place Thursday. Again, we will see you then. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Follow me at Joey Slattery TV, the podcast at Target Score Pod. We will see you later tonight. Enjoy the game.